Every second counts, every lap full throttle. Extreme conditions for man and machine. Always pushing the limit, but always keeping cautious. If you want to win here, you have to stick it out for 24 long hours.
It's fantastic. It's great to see everybody out here in the new year. We're hoping 2014 is going to be a good and happy year for international GT motor racing.
The Dunlop 24 Hours of Dubai. Fascinating motorsport. In daylight, at dusk, and most of all, at night. The first international 24-hour race of the year is at the 5.39-kilometer Dubai Autodrome. This is the 9th time that the United Arab Emirates metropolis has been a venue in the series. The motto in Dubai is simply, everything is possible. Ahead of Abu Dhabi, Dubai is the biggest city in the Emirates with a population of around 2.1 million. Despite the many prestigious buildings, there is a real mix of the modern and the traditional. The weekend preparations are also a tradition. As always, there is the popular welcome barbecue on the Wednesday prior to the race. For the first time, it becomes obvious just how big this event has become. This year, teams from 20 different nations and drivers from 40 different countries have come to compete. This is the 9th time that Dutch promoter Creventic, in close cooperation with the DNRT Foundation, has organized the race. And there is plenty to do before any racing begins. 70 large cargo containers are shipped to Dubai. A logistical masterclass. And of course, everything arrives on time.
Oh, that's a big effort we have to make every year. A colleague for me is doing that. All those containers are shipped in Rotterdam and then shipped here over Christmas. And now they are all on Dubai Autodrome just behind the pit box, so it's quite convenient for the teams.
The paddock is ready, the pit lane is full, and the build-up to the first few training sessions provides a hectic backdrop. There's a mixture of amateurs, novices, and even some professionals ready to go. The smell of motor oil and anticipation is in the air. They all have one thing in common. They live and love motorsport and 24-hour long-distance racing. The record number of 5,000 spectators have come to witness this spectacle, and they're already getting close to the action in the pit lane during qualifying. The grid is made up of an interesting mix of touring cars, such as the Renault Clio and the BMW 120D diesel, as well as the fast-paced GT cars of Porsche, Ferrari, BMW and Mercedes. Always a great treat.
I counted up, this is my 15th 24-hour race. I'd realised I'd done a few, but I thought, no, I can't be that old. It's a unique challenge. It's a challenge for both man and machine.
One team is made up of experience and upcoming talent. At just 17 years old, Jonathan Venter is making his debut here in Dubai for the Red Camel Jordans team, and he already has big plans for his career.
I grew up with cars. I started racing when I was 4 years old in South Africa in go-karts, and I've just continued to race ever since. You know, every year we step up a category, step up the speed, and every year I love it even more. So, you know, I'm here to have fun. So I love the atmosphere. Love all the cars here. It's a really nice track, so hope you have a good week.
But there's a moment of panic during the final training session. A fire in car number 144.
The driver made a little mistake in the last corner. He broke the rear of the car, and he tried to go in the pit line with the wheel, who have a lot of damage. And the wheel make a big damage in the engine, and after the oil burning, there's a lot of burning.
That was a GC10 V8 in the SP2 class. The French team won't be ready in time for qualifying, but car number 144 will be on the grid come race day, even if at the back. As ever, qualifying will decide the starting positions on the grid. Even though the race isn't decided yet, everyone still gives their all for a good lap time. The cars are split into a total of 9 different classes in the Dubai Autodrome. It's all about being on the track at the right time. The BMW E46 GTR from JR Motorsport claimed the pole in the A5 class. Success for the team from the Netherlands with car number 62. In the A3T class, it's the Maymac Ogilvy Dual Racing team that has come out on top in their Seat Leon Supercopa. It's a family affair. The team was founded by Dad. His 3 sons are behind the wheel, and their sister is the team manager. The Moutanas, an English family with Lebanese roots, sit on the pole. The fastest time was, in fact, posted by the team's 4th driver, the sister's boyfriend.
Well, the pole lap was done by Phil Quaife, who's the pro driver in the car. He's a very good driver. It was quite quiet. They section off qualifying quite nicely, so there's, different categories. When I went out during practice, it was very busy. A lot of very fast, very competitive cars, but I think he managed to get a few clean laps in, and it showed.
Sammy is the youngest of the 3 brothers. For them, it's not just about being faster than their rivals, but also about being the fastest in the family.
It has its moments of being tough, but I think it genuinely is really positive because we drive each other to be better. We really work together. We spend a lot of time at the track together, and it brings the family together, which is great.
Team Stadler from Switzerland goes into the race with only an outside chance of winning. For them, it's mostly up to professional driver Christian Engelhardt in the A6 Pro class. Maybe he can push the car to a top performance. For Team Schubert, it's all about victory. They finished 2nd in 2009 and won in 2011. This time, the BMW Z4 GT3 is in P5. There's another Porsche 997 GT3R on the grid for Fach Autotech. There are a total of 17 of the high-tech cars from Zuffenhausen here in Dubai. The defending champions are the Black Falcon team with their Mercedes SLS AMG GT3. They have an experienced driver lineup, including German DTM hero and ex-Formula One driver Bernd Schneider. The team from the United Arab Emirates has been on top of the podium for the last 2 years. What's the goal this time?
Of course, we would like to defend our title. We know it's getting every year more difficult. Black Falcon won the race now 2 times in a row. And of course, we try to do the hat trick. But it will be not easy because so many cars this year on the grid are very competitive.
That was certainly the case in the battle for pole position. The Chevrolet Corvette C6R from the V8 racing team posted the fastest time overall, a big surprise for everyone.
It was really difficult, to be honest, because I really didn't know what to expect before I went into the qualifying, because I could only manage to do 3 laps in the free practice. But it was really good. The car was great, and I have to say, most importantly, we were on the track just at the right moment because I had no traffic. The track condition was good when I was out there, and in the end the result was really good, so I was happy.
After qualifying, it's straight into night training. The night is 13.5 hours long in Dubai, and as a result, over 50% of the race is completed in the dark. Full throttle through the night. The night practice session is important for the drivers so they can get used to the unlit areas of the track.
Yeah, driving at night is quite tough, especially our cars, their lights weren't as strong as we'd like, so it's really tough. The traffic with the night is really hard usually. It's one of the toughest stints we have is the night.
The mechanics have to work hard through the night too. The Aston Martin Vantage GT3 gets new tires and a new driver inside a minute. Perfect teamwork.
It's quite exciting because it's not about one driver, it's not about a quick lap, it's about strategy and the car and the team and everything else.
A good setup for the third-placed team from 2013, Craft Racing AMR2. The Dubai Autodrome is 5,390 meters long with a total of 16 corners. It's a perfect combination of high-speed straights and technically demanding turns. For many of the amateur drivers, this is their first time driving in complete darkness in race trim. It's exactly this element that gives the 24-hour race its special flair. There's only one team that stands out, even at night. The pink BMW with the number 90, driven by 5 women from the Netherlands.
For us it's normal, but you can feel that it is in other countries it's a little bit strange that 5 women driving and also fast.
The Divas managed to win their class in 2013. They're chasing victory again this year too, but it will require a lot of hard work from the fast-paced ladies. At least they've got their motto down to a T.
Well, first finish and then finish first.
The big day is here, but before they can start their engines, there's just enough time for some photos for the family album. Dubai 2014. I was there. Even before the start, the crowd is gathering in the pit lane. More fans than ever before have flocked to the 9th annual 24 Hours of Dubai. An overhead look at the formation lap. Strong winds have blown a dusty haze onto the course. It doesn't make things any easier for the drivers. As always before a race, the anticipation is growing.
It's very exciting here. It's really nice to be here in Dubai. The weather right now is perfect. It's not too hot, not too cold, and it's perfect conditions to do the 24 hours. And yeah, obviously it feels a little bit nervous because this will be my first time in a 24 hours race. But I'm really looking forward to it.
There are 81 cars and almost 400 drivers, crew members and mechanics on the grid. The Manor MP Motorsport team have got just enough time for a group photo. Say cheese.
A lot of things can go wrong. Actually, something did went wrong just now while driving to the grid. We had an engine support failure, but luckily our guys managed to fix it just in time to leave the pit lane. So we just made it to the grid. But you know, on the other hand, it's good that these things happen before the race. So now we replaced the part. It should be good for the rest of the race.
But that won't be their last problem. Those lucky shoes still have a whole race to run. The entire event has been perfectly organized so far. A colorful parade to honor the participating countries makes its way around the grid before the start. Two-time defending champions Black Falcon 1 start the race in second, but their number 2 car also has a chance of winning. Jeroen Blekemolen will race in both of them.
Yeah, it's going to be very busy. First of all, I'll concentrate more on the number 1 car, but I'll definitely jump in the number 2 as well. I think the first time will be somewhere in the night, but we'll see how it goes. It all depends on where we are at the track and position-wise.
Dubai 2014. Things can get going. The starting grid. At the front is V8 Racing's Corvette, followed by the Black Falcon's Mercedes and the 997 GT3R Porsche from Fach Autotech. Then fourth is the Schubert BMW Z4, ahead of the silver Mercedes 458 Italia GT3 from Ram Racing. The Aston Martin is in 7th. 6 different manufacturers in the top 10. That's what a starting grid in a 24-hour race should look like. In 12th is the Mercedes SLS from allinclusive.com Motorsport with Stadler Motorsports Porsche in 14th. In 17th is the leading car in the SP2 class from Manor MP Motorsport, followed by Attempto Racing's Porsche 997 Cup. Optimum Motorsport leads the way in the SP3 class with their Ginetta G50 in 43rd position overall. Pole position in the A5 class belongs to JR Motorsport with their BMW E46 GTR. The Moutran brothers, in 50th, have given themselves a good chance in the A3T class. Lap 57 Racing's Honda Coupe 2-doors is the quickest in the A2 class, and the best diesel is the BMW 120D from Racy Racing Team. The pace car turns into the pit lane and the race is about to begin. The Corvette on the inside slows down the pack, but the Mercedes with the number 1 flies ahead. It looked like he jumped the gun. Down the long straight, more than a kilometer until the first right turn, and the field are close together. Bleekemolen is clear of Nicky Pastorelli, and behind them, Schubert Racing and Ram Racing are battling for third. Corners 4 and 5 are more of a quick chicane than a real turn, and Team Falcon's lead is getting bigger. We're riding on board with Attempto Racing in the middle of the pack. No accidents so far. This is always the trickiest phase for many of the cars. The 81 cars line up like pearls on a necklace. Lap 1 at full throttle. By the end, the winners of this race will have 603 laps under their belt. The pure madness of motorsport. The start of the race is almost like a sprint race. The Aston Martin with the number 17 attacks the silver Ferrari at the end of the finishing straight, and the pack remains close together. Richard Lyons from Kraft Racing overtakes Johnny Molen's Ferrari for 5th place. Dirk Vanner in the BMW Z4 is waiting behind them for his chance. Who has more power over the long diagonal in the Dubai Aerodrome's infield? The Ferrari charges again, but can't get past. The red Ferrari with the number 5 closes on the group. Aston Martin against Ferrari, against BMW, and another Ferrari. The exciting opening stages. Car number 30 makes a mistake, and Dirk Werner slips by in his Z4. Tony Villander's Ferrari also tries to take advantage of the mistake, but with no luck. A chance for everyone to catch their breath. Except for Team Falcon at the front, as Jeroen Bleekemolen picks up a 10-second penalty for a false start.
I mean, I had to try to take the Corvette. It's a bit annoying to fight a GT1 car because the car is just quicker, you know, so I hoped to take him at the start. I did it, but I guess I was a bit too early. I'm sure it was on the limit because I didn't jump the light. I went when the light went out, but the rules say you can't overtake before the line, but he just had a bad start and then I jumped him, but you have to push hard to win this race.
Manor Motorsports Dodge is still leading the SP2 class. Will the car hold out? The motor problems from the start seem to have been fixed. The question is, for how long? The battle for positions in the middle of the pack. The Porsche 997 GTR3 from Attempto Racing 1 is up against the Mercedes SLS with the number 19 from GDL Racing. There's a real back and forth between them at the start of the race. Neither driver is giving an inch, going practically wheel to wheel. The time has come, and the Dodge Viper goes into the pits. The team spent over 7 hours repairing their car and end the race in 5th in the SP2 class, 170 laps behind. But nobody is thinking about giving up at this stage. Things have calmed down a bit. After an hour and a half, the Mercedes SLS from allinclusive.com Munich Motorsport is leading for the first time. They are one of the few teams to have just 3 drivers. Team owner René Munich and 2 professional drivers, Rob Huff and Mark Bisseng, who is also team manager.
We are not here to just drive the race. Of course, we are only 3 drivers, so that makes it a bit more difficult, or it's more a challenge. But if we have the chance and the car runs without any problems, I think the podium is a possibility.
The drive into the pit lane. The first regular stints come to an end between hours 1 and 2. Time for the pit crews to get their hands dirty again. Only 4 mechanics can help during a pit stop. There's plenty to do. Change the driver, clean the windscreen, and most importantly, fit new tires. Seconds won on the track certainly shouldn't be lost in the pits. Even official provider Dunlop's machinery is running at full capacity during the race.
We supply the tyres for all of the cars, so all the 81 entrants will all run on Dunlop tyres, and this is the service centre. So I've got 7,642 tyres in 15 containers behind us, 41 staff, and during the race we'll be fitting a tyre and balancing a tyre about every 45 seconds.
Unlike Formula One, the tires in a 24-hour race have to cope with different demands, most importantly, the longer distance.
Well, we generally expect a car to do 2 fuel stints, which for most cars is about 1 hour and 15 minutes per stint. So about 3 hours, 2.5 to 3 hours. In the night, because it's cooler, they'll probably triple or maybe even quadruple stint.
The tires, always an important factor here in Dubai. Protecting your tires is a must, but this is certainly not the way to do it. Racing divas Team Schubert are in the pit, and Natasja Smit-Sør is still in shock. She lost control of her car while taking on this corner. The result? Off to the pits and a huge time loss in the first quarter of the race. The divas have a long way ahead of them. We're staying in the pits. Here's car number 152 without its hood. The Ginetta G50 from Optimum Motorsport was in pole in the SP3 class and up until now had been well placed. But after 2.5 hours, they're now in 5th, 14 laps behind. But there's no need to panic.
Well, 2 years ago we won the class with this car, and we had contact twice in that particular race. So we were in the pits for 2 15-minute sessions. So it's a 24-hour race, so as I say, if we can get out within 10-15 minutes, then we've done it before. You can still win.
The battle for the places rages on towards the front of the pack. The Schubert BMW Z4 is up against the Black Falcon with the number 2. It's a race for 5th. Abdulaziz Al Faisal in the Mercedes is trying to keep his nose in front. Both of them have to overtake car number 46. Al Faisal misses the braking point, and Bill Oberlin overtakes in his BMW. A great battle, but it isn't finished yet. Faisal comes back and tries to pull clear. The American closes in towards the end of the lap and moves back ahead at the start of the finishing straight. One last try from the Black Falcon, but it's not enough. This time, he has to accept defeat. Bernd Schneider observes the battle from the Black Falcon's pit. The German has yet to take the wheel. He's the specialist for the important stint at dusk. But you can see here how quickly everything can change. His teammate Khalid Al-Kubaisi is in traffic and gets hit while passing. The message to the pit? Everything's okay. He can continue. Nevertheless, Kubaisi loses confidence behind the wheel and is soon overtaken by the red Ferrari. Gian Maria Bruni steers his Spirit of Race team past the defending champions into second place and powers clear with his 420 horsepower. But there are still 21 hours to go.
It's after 3 hours, the car is good and we are quite happy. So far we will see what the night brings. It's a very long night here in Dubai and tomorrow morning we know more.
But before dawn, there's dusk. The most difficult and also the most fascinating part of the race begins here. Now it's important to be aware of what's behind you, especially for the smaller cars. KPM Racing are leading the diesel class in their Volkswagen Golf TDI MK6. They're driving their own race in the shadow of the GT3 cars. By the end, they'll trail the overall winner by 120 laps. And even though the Attempto Racing Porsche clearly has more horsepower to offer, no one wants to be easily overtaken in a 24-hour race. The transition into nighttime is confirmed by Code 60. It replaces the safety car at this competition. Due to safety reasons, all the cars can only drive a maximum of 60 kilometers per hour. Difficult work for the towing truck. And even though the ambulance makes an appearance, fortunately, nothing serious has happened. Meanwhile, the Schubert BMW has moved its way up to second. No surprise for driver Bill Oberlin.
I mean, I came here a couple of years ago. I love this place so much that I just wanted to get back here with Team Schubert. It was fast then, it's fast now. As it goes tonight, you watch, it's going to be quick. You know, the Mercedes and the Corvette, in the right conditions, I think they're very, very fast. But we're going to put our heads down. You look at this driver lineup, you know, you got Dane Cameron and Dirk Werner, and I'm going to put my head down as hard as I can.
The Audi Corse car is certainly getting its time in the limelight. The last wreckage is barely cleared before the next crash happens. It's slow motion again for the fast-paced cars. First, car number 144, and soon after, car 152 come to a stop on the finishing straight. The tow truck has to take unconventional evasive action, driving the wrong way towards the pit lane. But there was also exciting racing action. Here, a three-way battle in one of the slower corners. Kraft Racing's number 17 is desperate to pass car number 28, while Black Falcon's Mercedes SLS threatens from behind. The result? All three make contact. There is no damage, but it goes to show that the danger of dropping out of the race is ever present. Everyone can enjoy the traditional fireworks over the Dubai Autodrome this year. It's not hard to take a peek into the sky while Code 60 is in place. With 6 hours gone, the first quarter of the race is complete. After 6 hours, Abu Dhabi by Black Falcon 1 has a 3-lap lead on allinclusive.com Munich Motorsport. Close behind them is the Swiss team Fach Autotech. 2 Ferraris take up 6th and 7th, with pole setters V8 Racing in 8th. Stadler round off the top 10. Dragon Racing lead the A6 amateur class, while the best Porsche 997 Cup is the Black Falcon with the number 44. The Nissan 370Z leads the SP2 class, with the Italians and their Ginetta G50 leading the SP3 class. JR Motorsport remain in P1 in the A5 class, and Pfister Racing's Seat Leon Supercopa tops the A3T class. Lap 57 Racing Team are number 1 in the A2 category, and the best placed diesel is KPM Racing's Golf. There's a great atmosphere in Nissan's pit. As part of the Nissan Academy, the team have once again given young drivers who have qualified thanks to PlayStation a chance on the big stage. It's all under the watchful eye of performance director Simon Fitchett.
We can be a little bit happy, but as you know, with endurance racing, there's still a long, long way to go and anything can happen. So the guys are really proud of them so far. They've been doing a fantastic job. They've been consistent, and they're all really focused on putting in a consistent performance. That's what we've been working the last 4 or 5 months for, to get them up to this standard. So far they seem to be putting into good use everything they've learned, and they're doing a fantastic job.
Anyone who's made their presence known during the day shouldn't be ignored in the dark. Dragon Racing from Dubai are doing everything they can in their home race to overcome the monotony of the night drive. But it's not all about looks. The Ferrari 458 Italia GT3 is fighting for victory in the A6 amateur class, but there are always minor setbacks.
We're in pretty well, the car's running well, drivers are doing a good job. It's difficult because two of the drivers in the car, it's their first time to do a 24-hour race, so it's a new thing for them, it's a new experience. They're picking the pace up very well. We've just dropped from P1 to P2, but in the next stop we should pick that back up again, so overall, yeah, very good performance so far.
There is a huge setback for the big favorites shortly before midnight. Bernd Schneider has to take an unscheduled trip to the pits. The Mercedes SLS has problems. An electrical fault has cropped up in the system, every mechanic's nightmare. There's nothing harder to find and then also repair. The first step is to get the car jacked up in the pit. The win now looks to be beyond reach. But the past has shown us the crew's fighting spirit. No one is giving up.
We had already before some warnings, but we didn't know why. We thought it's only the battery, but we changed the battery. It wasn't the battery. Something on the exhaust was putting hot air on the alternator, and something, it spoke. Now we have to try to repair it.
One man's loss is another man's gain. A 24-hour race is won in the pits, not on the track. The number 4 car from Swiss team Fach Autotech has spent the least amount of time in the pits so far. And suddenly, the team finds itself taking the lead in the middle of the night. Team manager Alex Fach is constantly in control of the car's important data from the pits. You can virtually feel the tension. The Porsche 997 GT-R3 is battling with gearbox problems. The plan is to close their eyes and power through. The Ferrari with the number 30 is in second at 1 o'clock in the morning. A good performance and quick pit stops are the key. The BMW from Team Schubert is in third. Let's have another look at the lower classes. After around 11 hours, Lap 57 Racing Team lead the A2 category with their Honda Coupe two-doors. This team has an interesting lineup with drivers from Pakistan, Japan, Jordan, and the United Arab Emirates fighting for victory in their class. Driving in the darkness, a special time, particularly for amateur drivers. Ramzi Moutran speaks on behalf of all the amateur drivers on the course.
Oh, it's amazing. It's the best feeling ever. You feel all alone until a GT3 buzzes you in the middle of the night, wakes you up, but it's the most amazing feeling. I love racing at night. It's nice because you really focus on just what's in front of you. Nothing else is going to distract you. It's a beautiful feeling.
Fatigue is slowly starting to set in. The mechanics get their first nap in the pits, but they're always ready to jump in during an emergency. Some of the pits are starting to look more like garages or even junkyards. One particular team has really been hit hard.
We have a three big crash. The first crash with the car was burned yesterday. They was first of the position in SP2, and with the white car we have two crash. It's not a big mistake. We are required to finish the race, but it's a very, very big work.
Everyone is giving their all, not just for the drivers, but for the pride that mechanics take in their work. The car has to make it home, so they work until they can work no more.
Well, it's all part of the job. We know what the crack is, so we'll do what we've got to do, like, you know. It's not too long, is it? I'm sure we'll be okay.
Shortly before midnight, Team Falcon are back in the race. They have fallen back into 22nd, but are posting fast lap times. The chase is on. Ram Racing are out in front at the halfway stage. 12 hours down, 12 more to go. The Ferrari has yet to incur any major problems, partly down to having the right tactics.
Running quite a conservative strategy, trying to double stint the tyres, so not looking at what we can do over one lap, what we could do over a full stint, and it was working perfectly. We made it to the lead and we were extending that lead, so yeah, the first 12 hours was good for us.
So the silver Ferrari has the halfway lead with 290 laps. They have a narrow advantage over Fach Autotech and Team Schubert's BMW Z4. Best placed amateur Dragon Racing find themselves 8th overall, with Walkenhaus Motorsports in 10th with their own BMW Z4. GTL Racing 3 are second in the A6 amateur class, ahead of Visium in third, but all the teams are still close together. The fastest Porsche 997 Cup is being driven by Team Black Falcon 3, followed by Furch Racing by Lucas Motorsport and Attempto Racing 3. The boys from the Nissan GT Academy still lead the SP2 class, ahead of the Dodge Viper from Manor MP Motorsport. The SP3 leaders are Nova Race from Italy, with Perfection Racing Europe from Denmark and Speedworks Motorsport from England in pursuit. JR Motorsport have a 15-lap lead in the A5 class, with German team Sorg Rennsport and Hofer Cooper Racing's BMW following. In the A3T class, it's Maymac Ogilvy Dual Racing Team ahead of Motorsport Services and another Fork racing car. Lap 57 continue to lead the A2 class ahead of the Renault Clio from Danish team AD Racing and VDS Racing Adventures. English team KPM Racing lead the diesel class ahead of teams from Belgium and the United Arab Emirates. Sebastian Asch is getting ready. It's now 6 in the morning and his team has been in the lead for 3 hours. I just took a nap. I had to get myself in the right frame of mind so that I'm ready to go. We want to make sure that we keep our pace. We have to make sure that we get the car over the line. There are still 8 hours to go, and that's a long time. I always say we have to get through the night, and the night is quite long here. I hope that we're still in it at the end. Team manager Alex Fach is holding the lollipop himself at the pit stop. Even though daylight hasn't fully arrived, Fach team still believe they can pull off a sensation. By now, all of the cars are starting to look worse for wear. The Porsche speeds off again. The race continues.
I felt like we still had really competitive lap times and still was able to go quick. So car, we made a few changes actually for that last stint, and the car was much improved. So I think we should be looking good for the rest of the race.
Wolf Nathan with car number 21 has to go into the pits. The V8 racing team took a surprise pole and are still going well in the early hours of the morning. Yet another fantastic pit stop from the Dutch crew of mechanics, and even more importantly, a very happy Wolf Nathan. They're still in fourth. I drove a really good stint. I'm delighted. The team has put a great car together and everything's going well. We have 5 drivers, 1 professional and 4 amateurs, and we're in 4th place overall, which of course is brilliant.
Ja, we liggen 4e algemeen und das ist natürlich super.
As the Fach Porsche comes into the finishing straight, things aren't as they should be. The faces in the pit say it all. Disappointment and horror. A technical problem so close to the end. The car is pulled into the pit, and the dream of victory along with it. Their lead was huge. And it wasn't until 5 minutes later that Stadler Motorsport's Porsche came in to change its tires in the pit next door. Engine on and off they go. Team Stadler take the lead from Team Fach.
It was a fantastic night, but we still want to be quiet because, you know, I remember the year before we were in the lead till, let's say it was 12 hours probably. And after 12 hours our car broke down. So still a lot can happen and we need a lot of luck to end up at this position.
The Fach mechanics need 90 minutes to get the car back on its feet. A broken gear shift is the cause. I don't know exactly how long we led for. I think maybe 6 or 7 hours. We were just after a podium finish, really. We were over the moon to have been so far out front. We had a 2.5 lap lead, and at the pace we were going, we would definitely have kept it up until the end. But that's racing, we can't change anything. We'll take it on the chin, repair the car, and keep heading towards the finish. 3/4 of the race are over, and the Porsche from Stadler Motorsport leads the way. There are 3 Mercedes in the top 5. Among them is amateur team GDL Racing 3. Fach Autotech have fallen back, and the Aston Martin from Kraft Racing has moved up the pack. 2 Ferraris complete the top 10. GDL Racing from Italy heads the amateur class. Fach Racing have a narrow lead in the Porsche Cup category. Still flying ahead in the SP2 class is the Nissan 370Z, while the Aston Martin with the number 155 tops the SP3 class. There are no big changes in the A5 and A3T classes. There are, however, 2 new leaders in the lowest classes. AD Racing have the best of the small engine touring cars, while Racy Racing tops the diesel class. While engines roar on the track, the overall leader tries to relax. Christian Engelhardt drove double stints through the night. He only has a few more hours of punishment left to endure.
Yeah, it's important because the stints on the night, I've done a lot of stints on the night, and with the seat in the Porsche I always get pain in the back, so it's important to be fit for the last hours of the race.
Stadler gaining the number 1 spot was the 27th time that the lead changed during the race. That shows just how strong and competitive the A6 GT3 category is this year. A good job by the Dutch organizers, Creventic. Hot on the heels of the Porsche is the Mercedes from allinclusive.com Munich Motorsport with Mark Bissing and Rob Huff. They started back in 12th and are the only top team with just 3 drivers.
Since sort of midnight last night, everything seems to have gone pretty well, and as soon as the sun's come out, the car's flying. The grip level has increased quite dramatically, and we had a stonking stint then and gained quite a lot of time back. So Mark's now back in the car. He'll be in for 2 hours, and then we'll have to see what we do from there.
The number 2 car from Black Falcon is still in 3rd place. The Mercedes has a few positional battles going on behind it. The last few hours are just about making it through. And the curtain finally came down on the pre-race favorites' hopes of victory at around 9 o'clock in the morning. The Mercedes is in the pits without wheels and without mechanics that want to fix the problem. The defending champions cannot finish the 24 hours of Dubai. The BMW with the number 125 leads the diesel class. It would be a debut success for the 4 Belgians from Racy Racing.
Well, it's our first time we got here, and we said if we finish it would be a victory on itself.
and it would be nice to be on the podium of our class. So and now if we could win it, it would be fantastic.
It's also been a perfect race so far for the GDL racing team from Italy. They have led the A6 amateur class for hours with their Mercedes SLS AMG 3. In fact, they're 4th overall as things stand. The black Renault Clio belongs to a team from Scandinavia. All 5 drivers come from Denmark. They've made it through the long night and are heading to victory in the A2 class.
We're in the lead in our class, so very happy. The track is, and the car is good. It's perfect, all perfect now.
There are discussions for Team GDL Racing 3 shortly after 11 o'clock in the morning. Their Mercedes has to be pushed into the pits and can't be repaired. It's a bitter blow, especially considering how well they were placed. Ivo Brookers cuts a disappointed figure.
Well, we were well into the lead, and then suddenly the ABS stopped working, already in the stint for Luc Brahms. So we went out without ABS. I destroyed the front tires. Then we put new tires on, which was well. And I came on in the end of the straight, and there was a Clio, and I thought he was giving room. But yeah, clearly he was not giving room, so I touched him. And now the steering rod is bent.
There are dangers all around after almost 24 hours of racing. Either the engine gives up the ghost or the drivers let their concentration levels drop. The number 2 car from the Black Falcons is still in 3rd place, but half an hour before the end, driver Khalid Al-Kribasi makes a mistake. The man from Dubai loses control of his car in the right-hand turn leading onto the home stretch and comes within a whisker of the pit wall. There may still be a chance for GT Corsa's Ferrari to make it onto the podium. German Marco Seyfried's team are just 4 laps behind. They give it all they've got, but in the end, it isn't enough. Al-Kribasi gets his Mercedes going in the right direction again and brings home a podium finish. Things are going well for Marc Besseng. He's negotiating the final corners on his way to 2nd place. The mechanics are getting ready to celebrate. The Porsche remains in the lead with Ralf Ineichen at the wheel. Team Stadler have their win, a big surprise. "24 hours of Dubai, 24 hours of adrenaline, 24 hours of pushing the limit." After exactly 603 laps for the winner, the first motorsports highlight of 2014 comes to an end.
What a great result, you know, to finish sort of my term with the team on such a great result, you know. You can see everyone's very emotional, very happy. Just what an amazing team, what an amazing job.
The traditional journey to the award ceremony. Khalid Al-Kribasi finishes in 3rd with Team Black Falcon 2 and has the honor of riding a camel at the end of the race. Three winning teams represent the near 400 racers from all over the world.
Yeah, it's so great. It's such an exciting race, and yeah, it's my first victory in a 24-hour race. It's actually the first 24-hour race I've ever finished. And yeah, I'm so happy. We didn't make a single mistake. I did so many stints in the race, unbelievable. I'm so tired and happy and tired and happy and tired at the same time. It's crazy.
The final standings after 24 hours, Porsche, Mercedes, Ferrari, and Chevrolet make up the top 5. 2 BMWs and a Lamborghini follow them in a hard-fought top 10. There was a close finish in the amateur class. Dragon Racing triumph ahead of Rhinos Leopard Motorsport and Spirit of Race 2. Fork Racing by Lucas Motorsport win the 997 Cup Porsche category with Black Falcon 3 and Car Collection Motorsport behind. The boys from the Nissan Academy ended up with a 25-lap advantage over Gravity Racing in the SP2 class. The second Nissan moved up into third here. Speedworks Motorsport win over Perfection Racing Europe and Red Camel Jordan's NL2 in the SP3 class. A clear win in the A5 class by JR Motorsport, followed by Black Falcon 4 and Sorg Rennsport 2. Racing Divas Team Schubert get the title in the A3T class, finishing ahead of Motorsport Services and Prefer Racing Team Austria. 2 Danish teams took the top 2 spots in the A2 class. APO Sport picked up third, also in a Renault Clio. And a win for the Belgians in the diesel class ahead of KPM Racing and Red Camel Jordan's NL. This was the 9th time that Dubai has hosted the Dunlop 24-hour race. The motorsport community couldn't have wished for a better start to the year. An exciting race with plenty of battling and overtaking. All of the participants and fans can leave the Dubai Autodrome with a lot of memories and are sure to be there for the big anniversary in 2015. It will be the 10th time you'll hear the words, "Welcome to the Dunlop 24 Hours of Dubai."